What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Zach Hankins for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. Salute to you once again for showing love to the channel. The Chicago Bulls retired Derrick Rose's #1 jersey last night after their 106-103 victory against the Boston Celtics. Derrick Rose grew emotional throughout the ceremony, wiping tears from his eyes as former teammates Taj Gibson and Luol Deng provided the opening remarks. Rose then delivered a tearful speech honoring his mother Brenda, his brothers, some ex-teammates in attendance, and a sold-out crowd in his hometown of Chicago, as nearly all of the fans remained in their seats for more than an hour after the game. Rose became just the 5th player in history to have his number retired by the Chicago Bulls, joining Jerry Sloan, who wore number 4, Bob Love, who wore number 10, Michael Jordan, who wore number 23, and Scottie Pippen, who wore number 33. The Bulls also have banners that honor former coach Phil Jackson and former general manager Jerry Krause. Now, I'm trying to recall, I don't think they retired his number, but I think Chet Walker had some type of a ring of honor or some type of ceremony before he passed away recently. Anyway, Derrick Rose said before the win, "This journey was never about me. It was about creating the synergy that somehow people from the city can pull from, and somehow I was able to beacon on that vessel for that from hooping." And despite temperatures dropping to single digits in Chicago on Saturday, fans lined up outside the United Center hours before tip-off, waiting for an early glimpse of the star of the night. A black T-shirt with Derrick's name and number on the back was draped on every seat in the arena. The Bulls players wore the same shirt for their pregame warm-ups. A Chicago orchestra played the team's intro song, "Sirius." You know that song, by the Alan Parsons Project to begin the post-game festivities as fans chanted MVP, MVP throughout the night. Several current players such as Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Zach Collins, and rookie Noah Nsing, I hope I pronounced that last name right, Nsingu, I think it's Nsingu, returned to the bench to watch the ceremony. And about 20 former teammates were in attendance Saturday. Rose sat in the suite during the game along with former teammates Josh Gibson, Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, Ben Gordon, and Kurt Heinrich, and Coach Tom Thibodeau. Noah said the group gathered the night before the ceremony, and the gathering lasted until the early hours of Saturday morning. And, Derrick Rose, to me, and I think to any Bulls fan, he was Chicago. He's from that area, born and bred. And, I would argue that the impact that he had with the city of Chicago and the love that he has from people in Chicago rivals that, or if not even exceeds that Cleveland has for LeBron. Because Cleveland, LeBron has kind of, he's kind of team hopped, obviously. You know what I'm saying? He's team hopped, and while his roots will always be in Cleveland, he's no longer there. Derrick Rose is Chicago. I mean, he is. He's like a god in the city of Chicago. And the fact that he was drafted by the Chicago Bulls back in, 2008, it was a dream come true. And, as a Chicago Bulls fan, his tenure was the last time we had any real hope. It is. It's the last time we had any real hope, man. And, I remember when the Bulls, man, I can't believe it's been that long ago. I think it was the 20th anniversary ceremony for the 91 Bulls, which was, man, think about that. It was 2011. I think it was the 20th anniversary ceremony for that team. And Michael Jordan said this back then. This goes to show you the potential that that team in that era had.
You guys are in store for a lot of other championships. You look at this team tonight. Don't be surprised if you don't have 6 more coming.
Better days between Pippen and Jordan. But speaking of Michael Jordan, he gave congratulations to Derrick Rose on the retirement ceremony.
Derrick, congratulations on your retirement in New Jersey. Very happy for you. You had an unbelievable career. You really represented the city of Chicago, the Chicago Bulls, your family, and yourself very, very well. So I'm very proud of you and very happy for your special night. Looking forward to coming to United Center and seeing your jersey hanging up there with my jersey. Congratulations and enjoy your night.
Of course, Derrick Rose was quite emotional during the whole experience.
You're not only the MVP, Pooh. You're the people's champ. You're the people's champ.
The brother Zach Hankins asked me what was my favorite Derrick Rose game. I don't know if I have a particular favorite game, but I can tell you what gave me hope as a Chicago Bull fan after so many years of mediocrity and failure in the post-Jordan era. What gave me hope was that 2009 first-round series against Boston. Now, granted, Boston didn't have Kevin Durant, but Boston still had a 62-20 record during that regular season. The Bulls only went 500, if I remember correctly, like 40. I think they won 40 or 41 games that year. But the fact that the Bulls, I vividly remember Derrick Rose having an unbelievable performance in that first game. He was a rookie now. And I remember he had like 36 points. And I want to say he had 10 assists or something in that game. And the Bulls won on the road. I think it was, wasn't it like a Joakim Noah dunk that sealed it or something like that? But the fact that they were able to win that first game on the road in Boston, that showed that this was a different team and this was not going to be an easy series. Now, of course, Kevin Garnett didn't play because of an injury, but this wasn't going to be a normal, I think it was 1-8 series. And the series went 7 games. The Bulls ultimately lost, but it was a harbinger of things to come for Chicago Bulls fans. And had it not been for that injury to Derrick Rose, I don't think we would have won 6 championships, but I do think that team would have won a title. And I feel like we were robbed, man, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm a long-suffering sports fan. I'm a Bulls fan. We had our great moments, but I honestly think had it not been for Michael Jordan, the Bulls wouldn't have won anything. That's not to take away from the other great players that played for them, along with Michael Jordan, obviously, but I almost see it almost like a fluke. Because when you look at the Chicago Bulls organization before him, outside of the 1970s when they had that great team with guys like Jerry Sloan and Chet Walker, and Norm Van Leer, and Tom Burrowinkle, and who am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. But, outside that team, they were mediocre. And afterwards, after the Jordan era, they were mediocre outside Derrick Rose. So, and I'm a Bills fan, so I don't have to go into that. But, man, for a brief moment, Derrick Rose gave us hope. And then ultimately, even with the injuries, he was able to still have a productive career, especially with the Knicks. I remember that game he came back. Now that I think about it, one of my favorite games individually is that 50-point game he had against the Timberwolves, because I think that game extended his career. It showed that he, despite the fact that injuries had robbed him of much of his athleticism, he had improved as a shooter. And it also showed that he was gritty and wasn't afraid of the moment. And I do remember getting emotional when he dropped that 50, because I'm going to tell you another thing, too, that a lot of us Bulls fans were guilty of. To a certain degree, we turned on him a little bit. We turned on him because a lot of us thought that he was faking or playing up some of those injuries, but we didn't know. He seriously was getting hurt constantly. I think to the point where he was even considering quitting basketball. But that's one thing I do regret. And that's why I don't want to run and jump to conclusions about Giannis. A lot of times guys like Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James and some of these other turkeys, they can make us cynical about all these players, but not all of them are like that. Too many of them are, but not all of them are like that. But anyway, salute to Derrick Rose, man. Great player. You know what I'm saying? Exciting, great athleticism. Man, I'm going to tell you one other thing before I go. I've always thought that the refs used to always fuck Derrick Rose when it came to him going to the line. As much abuse as he used to take driving, and he would shoot like maybe 4 or 5 free throws, maybe 6 a game. No, he should have been shooting 8, 9 free throws a game. I can only imagine what Derrick Rose in his prime would do today. And that's all I got to say about it. What you guys think?